In my husband's will, there is a letter addressed to his mistress. Me, 45, and my husband, 42, had been married for 16 years. Not the best marriage. I worked day shift while he worked night shifts as a guard in a club. He cheated on me 2 times, but I always forgave him because it was in both cases a single encounter, and when I found out snooping through his phone, the text had stopped weeks before. He had the habit of not deleting any chat. I wasn't really active in the last year of our marriage because I wanted kids before, but he didn't, stating that he still wanted to live child-free and have fun without the responsibilities that comes with a child. After my 39th birthday, my doctor confirmed that I couldn't have any more. So I became depressed and reduced our intimate life to 1 time every 2 months. 4 years ago, he cheated on me for the 3rd time, but this time it was different. He met this girl a lot younger than him. She was almost 19 at the time he was 38, whom I'll call Lana, fake name. They have been together for 1 year when Lana realized that he was lying and the number he constantly received calls from wasn't actually his sister like he said, but was me, his wife. So she memorized my number, and one day she called me and told me what was going on between them two. We also met 1 week after, and she showed me all the text between them as proof, stating that she didn't know he was married and that she had immediately cut contacts with him. Those messages were particularly hurtful to read because unlike those with the other 2 women, this wasn't only physical, but strongly emotional too. He kept telling her how much he loved her, kept telling her that there was a ring coming for her, and the most devastating, apparently he tried multiple times to get her pregnant, but she didn't want to be a mom at 19. After I confronted my husband with all the proof, he broke down and admitted the affair, but unlike the other 2 where he cried and begged, this time he seemed way less remorseful. I told him that I was willing to forgive him again, but this time we had to do couples counseling. 2 days after, he suddenly looked at me and tells me that he loves me but loves her more and wants to separate and try to get her back since she had cut him out. At that point, I let it all out and said many bad things to him and lay on the floor crying and screaming in disbelief, asking myself how could I have wasted all these years, and telling him I should have left him the first time I found out about his affair. As angry as I was, I called my family that lives in another country and told them everything. Word spread quickly, as the next day he received a call from his nana that made him come back to his senses. He came clean, apologized to me, and agreed to couples counseling. The next year seemed to go better, especially our intimate life. But I could still sense he wasn't fully happy, even though he told me the opposite. 1.5 years ago, he was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. I'm not gonna spare all the details, but this has been the worst year of my life. Seeing him this weak and sick had me crushed. He died 1 month ago, and I'm devastated. Last week, there was a meeting with the notary and his family to discuss his will. He left me and his sisters everything. Then my attorney pulled out a letter titled as, "To the love of my life." So I asked the notary to hand it to me, as I guessed it was directed to me. But instead, the attorney told me that the letter was directed to Lana. My heart sank. I left the room and went to the bathroom and cried like a baby. After 10 minutes, I composed myself and got back into the room. I asked the attorney to give it to me so that I could call her and give it to her myself, but my husband had specifically requested the attorney to organize a meeting with Lana to make sure she received the letter, since he was sure that if I was the one who had to contact and give her the letter, she would have never received it. And he was right. The attorney had been able to contact her, and they are going to meet on Monday. I don't know what to do. I would like to ask to be present, but at the same time, I know that whatever is in that letter will hurt me deeply, and right now I'm already devastated. Sorry for the long story, and thank you for reading if you're here. Edit. Hi everyone. I spent the last hour reading all your comments, and I wanted to thank everybody, both those who tried to encourage me and who said negative things about me. I'm slowly realizing that although he is wrong for what he did, I allowed him to continue to hurt me. There are a few things I'd like to specify. First, I live in Europe. We married in separation of assets, which means that the separate finances we had before we married remained separate during our marriage. Second, some of you suggested he could have left her money. Even if he did, I highly doubt she would accept it. From what I read in their texts, he offered to pay for her in many occasions, for her studies and her car and something else, but she always refused, even though she wasn't rich. Third, I have strong religious beliefs. This is why I always forgave him and always wanted to work on our marriage. I made a promise that day and wanted to keep it. I am definitely going to therapy in the next weeks, and as some of you suggested, I'll talk to the therapist about the letter and ask her if I should eventually contact Lana to receive it so that I can have closure, or if it's better to only move on. Thank you all again.